Hi, Ecotourism Bali. Back again with me, Ami from Ecotourism Bali. Now, I'm with Ibu Rili Djohani as Executive Director from CTC, Coral Triangle Center. Halo Ibu, apa kabar?
I'm fine, thank you. Nggak berbahaya.
Terima kasih Ibu untuk waktunya. Hari ini we're gonna talk about marine biodiversity yang dilakukan oleh CTC, Coral Triangle Center. So first of all, maybe Ibu Rili, you could share about what is CTC and then why CTC exists, especially in Bali.
Thank you for the question. The foundation we set up in 2010, and the mission was to really set up a foundation dedicated to the Coral Triangle region, which is an epicenter for marine biodiversity. It has the highest amount of species of corals and reef fish, and the countries include Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, Timor-Leste, Papua New Guinea, and the Solomon Islands. So our foundation is dedicated to this geography, and we aim to build local capacity for long-term marine conservation.
When you start building it, is there findings before you initiate this foundation? Why you want to create this foundation? What's the important like that?
Well, we work closely with the Coral Triangle Initiative, which is a multilateral collaboration between those 6 countries, and they all explained that human capacity, the development of people who can care for the oceans, was among the highest priorities. And so we felt strongly that CTC could help address this issue. And so we set up CTC in Bali. And why Bali? Because it's such a great international destination for a lot of tourists, but also the gateway for the Coral Triangle. So it's very easy to connect to other destinations in the Coral Triangle region. Hence, we set up this center here in Bali.
In Bali, yeah. And then I know that the area of the marine biodiversity is not only in Bali. There's one in Nusa Penida, but there are many others in other area. What is the focus for the Bali itself, especially in Nusa Penida? What are the programs?
Yeah, so in Indonesia, of course, is the largest archipelago in the world, and Bali is also still part of the Coral Triangle in terms of its diversity. And Nusa Penida within the Bali province is among the most important area in terms of diversity. So you find a lot of coral reef species again, a lot of charismatic species like the sunfish, the manta. People love to come and visit Bali also to see those animals. And Nusa Penida is such a great destination to see it. And so we focused early on Nusa Penida with the local government from Klungkung and also the local communities and also the tourism industry to see how we can work together to establish a marine protected area. So we helped establish this Nusa Penida MPA, marine protected area, several years ago.
Okay. And what are the steps until Nusa Penida is designated for MPA? Is there any other outreach area that you will expand on the other part of Bali?
Yeah, so we learned a lot from the Nusa Penida NPA. So it was very important to engage the local communities early on in the process. So we spent maybe 2 years working with the 16 villages in Nusa Penida and Mongan and Ceninga to really ensure their support and participation in this marine protected area. And together we developed a management plan and also financing plan to support the implementation of this marine protected area. And so learning from this, we also established an island-wide NPA study. So which areas in Bali are also important to protect in terms of marine biodiversity. Yeah. And so in 2015, CTC also worked with the local government and other partners to look around the whole island of Bali. And there were several places that came out as very important as well. For example, daerah Buleleng Karangasem, for example, very important. Yeah. And we also support, of course, the Bali Barat National Park in West Bali. But also in Nusa Dua, you have many places that are very important. Yeah. You can find the dugong there, the beautiful animal in the channel area as well. Yeah. And so there are various places that we recommended to the provincial government here in Bali to help protect the marine biodiversity.
Yeah. But to see that those area that its potential to become MPA, what is the state now of the biodiversity? Is it, or do you think it could change, and how we can change it? How can we contribute? Because I know it cannot be only one single player that can reverse this biodiversity. So how can we collab and do something about it?
Yeah, so if you look at Bali, it's also under pressure, of course. So you have a lot of problems, as we all know, with plastic pollution. There's a lot of development along the coast, which causes erosion of the coast as well, a lot of sedimentation. And therefore the coral reefs also are dying because of that impact of climate change. And so there are a lot of pressures on the coral reef that we need to address, and it's something that we really like to do together. So Coral Triangle Center is really open for partnerships to develop with other NGOs, but also with the private sector. We really like to work with hotels, dive operators, liveaboards who are really caring for the oceans as well. So we have a special program for dive operators to help them to become a very sustainable operation. It's called the Green Fins program.
Green Fins program?
Yeah, Green Fins. So we help establish an audit with them, and so they can showcase their best practices in how they operate their business sustainably. Yeah, how to bring the tourists to the oceans, that they don't touch the corals, they don't disturb the animals, that they do very good waste management. And so it's a whole process, and they will get certified with Green Fins certificate. It's established by the United Nations Environmental Program, and CTC is the national assessor for Indonesia. And so tourists also like to already look for Green Fins certified dive operations who are doing the right thing for the environment. So that's one example how we like to work together with the dive operators.
And what about hotels? I mean, there are thousands of hotels. And then, how can the potential collaboration on how we can protect the marine?
Well, we're very encouraged by hotel partnerships, especially here in Sanur. We work with hotels to help clean up the beaches. So they help organize and support these types of events. They also help promote our coral restoration program. For example, hotels in Kuta, Seminyak, but also in Sanur. So they help us promote the Adopt a Coral program, so tourists can actually help us to adopt a coral that we work together with local communities to implement.
Is it with the Reef Star?
With the Reef Star method. And so then they actually help restore the coral reefs and their resilience to actually become healthy again, especially damaged after storms or after boat damage, for example. The Reef Star technique is very good to actually restore the reef. And people adopting a coral, they really help us plant the baby coral. And then within 7-8 months, you see already the growth. And then after 1 year, it's already quite covered. And in several years, can come back and really become a healthy reef again. And the habitat, the home for many fish species and other marine life. So it's a very good program that has to be implemented well with the right science, the right guidance, but it also benefits the local community as well as protecting the marine biodiversity.
So those are two programs. Is there any other programs that CTC offer on the industry in Bali that we can do on the?
Well, for now, we like to expand the program in terms of education for school children. So it would be great if hotels can support our Ocean Keepers Kids Club, which is really focused on increasing the ocean literacy of more elementary schools in Bali. And so these are special events every month that we hold at the center. But but the hotels can really sponsor children to participate in this program. And so it's another way for hotels to really support Bali
and the community.
the communities, and help develop the awareness among school children about marine conservation. Hopefully they're interested to pursue a career in marine conservation as well. So we like to do more outreach programs in Bali as well, also on the island, using the Wayang Samudra, the ocean puppet, which is also a lot of fun. So
it's easier for the kids to observe true story because it's something relatable.
Absolutely. And so we can also do these performances at hotels if they like. So it's also for tourists very interesting to learn about it. We can also provide English translation if necessary. And it would be great if the hotels can promote the center as an active destination for tourists, as a lot of them like to do something else besides beaches, visiting temples.
Exactly.
The center would provide another fun activity for them.
And it's very informative.
Yeah,
very informative. We went to the workshop and then the visual and then the facility. Yeah.
And we have fun escape rooms, as you know, and I hope you have an opportunity to play. But you have to protect the coral reefs in 1 hour, and it's a bit of fun to play with your team or your family, and you learn a lot about diversity, the threats, but also the solutions.
Yeah.
And so, again, the center is a great destination for tourists as well, and we very much appreciate support from hotels to promote it.
Yeah. And not only that, I think there's also a facility where you provide the education and really with the visual. I see also there's exhibition about sustainable fishery. And then also I think the cafe or restaurant can also maybe learn from it because they know what is the differentiation between sustainable fishing and what is the impact of doing the right thing. And I think that's also something that for me myself lacking on the industry, especially in the F&B restaurant or F&B industry. So it could be also a channel for like expanding the education information to the player to understand where the fish caught and how they do it. And also I saw the art exhibition, right, Ibu?
Right.
Also, you also exposed how the waste will be disposed eventually to the ocean, but how you upcycle the waste through this artist. There's also exhibition to that, and then you change it regularly, right, for the artists.
Yes,
over there.
Yeah. So we try to also work with local artists as well, as much as possible, that have a link to either marine diversity or recycling art, contemporary art, and related to marine conservation.
Yeah, from the crochet to the ceramic and then
the plastic rope.
Yes, that is
weaving the ocean. Yeah, and so that would be terrific as well. The artwork, so galleries, but also the sustainable seafood is another aspect. So it would be great if the hotels can embrace sustainable seafood. We've worked with hotels to promote sustainable seafood and awareness among chefs, for example, and create beautiful desserts, artwork around the food as it in itself, as a very important message on miracles. So we consume it eventually. Correct. Yeah.
Ibu, could you explain more about the current situation of marine biodiversity around Bali?
Yeah, the diversity is still high. Our study a few years ago showed that the coral reefs are in relatively good shape. More than 60% is still good coverage and diversity, but it is under pressure. And also we have quite some mangrove areas, of course, along the Sado area and Nusa Penida and other places, and also sink grass beds. So we have all the ecosystems that are important to preserve marine biodiversity, but the threats are also quite there. For example, the pollution is really a problem. And my dream actually for Bali is to have a plastic-free Bali in a few years. That's really our dream. And there's so much interest already among everyone here living in Bali, but also the tourists. So I think it should be feasible. And we should really try to make that a priority for Bali, because it will lose also its appeal for tourism if we have these very polluted areas. Sorry, you find our assets, everywhere. Every beach, every ditch, every mangrove area, there's so much plastic. So we have to try to address it. So plastic-free, we should reduce, reuse, refuse, and recycle plastics. And so I think that's one concerted effort we should try to do, especially knowing Bali is such a popular destination.
And it's such a small island. Everything that we throw out, it goes back.
Yeah.
But I also often hear Bali is also in the end of disposal from Java and the others because of the current of the and there's something that also we cannot control within Bali. So maybe also that's something that a bigger threat for us also in Bali. But how the percentage even of, let's say, if we already reduce the plastic in Bali, is it true that we are also the disposal from the other island and that goes to Bali eventually?
Sure. I mean, it is true because of the currents. But to take it away from the ocean is always a good thing. And so, of course, to protect Bali, we have to protect the wider area around Bali and in Indonesia and globally. But we can do a lot locally, I think, on the island by trying to avoid the trash going to the oceans, trying to recycle plastic, trying to clean it up, and also promote people not to use plastics anymore, use alternatives like bags from seaweed also, we have it here, packaging, try to change the culture around plastics. And if we can do that, I think we can achieve a lot for Bali.
Yeah. But there's also so many new packaging, right? Ibu is also from cassava, they call biodegradable. But what do you think from Ibu's perspective as the marine scientist? Is it really helping this new alternative packaging? Is there any tests, some sort of there's from many others, not only seaweed, there's many others also. What's your opinion about that?
Well, I think it's definitely a better alternative rather than plastics. Whether it's fully biodegradable is still something I believe we need to further look into. But for now, it's definitely a better alternative than using plastics. But more research is needed, I think, to really come to a solution that is
tested approved.
Yeah, plastic, that has the same attributes as plastic. And so it can keep the food or anything we want to put in plastic smell, but also it's not so detrimental to your environment. True, not at all. And so it's a combination of research, awareness, education, cleanups, a new policy. Government, of course, very important to really push for the right policies to address plastic pollution. But also providing incentives to the companies who are trying to do the right thing.
That's really important.
And I think the hotels, some of them are doing great in trying to manage their waste, their pollution issues, the plastic use. And so hopefully Bali can become an icon or a model island for other islands in Indonesia and the world in how we actually deal with the plastic issue. And so hopefully it's possible for us in a few years and can really become plastic free.
Yeah. Do you think it's feasible?
I think so.
Okay. I'm also positive.
Yes, I do think so. And Bali has so much to offer and so much beauty here, both culturally and in the natural environment. So there's a lot at stake. And I think we all try to do our best to achieve.
Very true. We keep our asset. Ibu, in ecotourism Bali, there's also other viewers that really would like to know your opinion about Bali tourist site. Do you have any recommendation on places to go or a culinary journey that you want to share with us?
Yes, well, of course, I love Nusa Penida and Nusa Lembongan because I love diving. And to me, these are beautiful places to dive. There's also a nice mangrove center in Nusa Lembongan, which is great to explore the mangroves and learn more about seaweed culture there. So for me, those 3 islands, Chiningan, Lombongan, and Penida, are one of my favorite destinations. I also like to go to Menjangan Island in Bali Barat National Park. So some of the marine areas I really like. But also I love Sideman, for example, for the hiking and the trekking.
Yeah.
It's a hidden gem in Bali, in my opinion, that not many people have seen so far. And
For the food?
for the food, so many choices.
Yeah. But what's your top of mind now? First thing about Bali, like where to go, where to eat. Yeah.
Well, I love some restaurants in Bali.
In Bali, yeah.
But of course, I like the seafood in Jimbaran. I like the international cuisine, like Italian food. There's several of them here in Sandor, in Jambu as well. I'm not sure whether I can actually name restaurants here.
Oh, local food? Do you
Yeah, okay, local food, of course.
Yeah. What do you like most from Bali cuisine?
From the Bali cuisine.
Do you like spicy or not?
Yeah, I like it a lot. I like ayam betutu also. And also the gado-gado and satay ayam, of course. But also the fish. I love the seafood here as well, very much so. So lots of sustainable seafood you can get here in Bali as well. And also seaweed-related food. I love the salad, seaweed salad.
Yeah. Bulu.
I think that. Yeah. And I like also the desserts like daluman.
Naluman.
Yeah, it's a very Balinese, of course, but for the such good food here, there's no lack of great food in Bali.
Yeah, very tasty.
But local food, definitely. But I love the vegetable dishes as well.
Okay. Thank you, Ibu. Thank you so much. Yeah.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you for the interview.
Sorry, much. Thank you for your time. If you have any message for us, ecotourism Bali viewers, please, if you...
Well, my message is, let's keep the island beautiful together by making sure we do not use plastics and make sure we don't damage the coral reefs, the mangroves, the seagrass, but also on the land. And together, I think we can do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu. Thank you, Rili.
Sama-sama. Terima kasih banyak.
Okay, see you again next time. El Ecotourism Bali podcast.
Thank you.
Bye.